Smallest herd in 8 years. Will 2023 set record prices? The USDA's January 1st cattle inventory report places the total number of cattle and calves at 89.3 million head, consistent with trade expectations for a 3% decline from a year ago, as the industry continues into a fourth consecutive year of contraction within the cattle cycle. That's approaching inventory lows last seen in 2014 and 15 at the start of the current cycle when producers began rebuilding following the drought of 2012. The report mostly confirms anticipated effects of current drought conditions, and with limited availability of pasture and hay, further contraction seems likely. As expected, all cows and heifers that have calved total 38.3 million head, also nearly 3% below last year, reflecting 4% fewer beef cows at 28.9 million head and just a slight uptick in dairy cows. That's the smallest beef cow inventory since 1962. As further evidence of continued contraction, beef replacement heifers are down about 6% from a year ago, compared to an average pre-report estimate of only 3% lower, while dairy replacement heifers and other heifers are down 2% and 3% respectively. Overall, the inventory of all heifers weighing 500 pounds or more is down about 4% compared to expectations for just a 2% decline. Steers and bulls weighing 500 plus pounds are down 3% and 4% respectively, while the number of calves under 500 pounds is also down about 3%. With around 3% fewer cows and heifers calved, the USDA has revised downward the July estimate of the 2022 calf crop to 34.5 million head, so that it is now 2% below the 2021 level, which will further limit the number of animals on feed and beef production in 2023 and 24. The USDA's most recent cattle on feed report indicates over 11.7 million head on feed, or just about 3% less than on January 1st of last year. Last December, feedlots also placed 1.8 million cattle on feed, or about 8% fewer than a year earlier, and marketed 1.74 million, or about 6% less. The mix of steers and heifers indicates that compared to a year ago, more heifers are being sent to feedlots instead of staying on farm as breeding stock. Steers on feed are down about 4.5%, while heifers are down only 0.5% from a year ago, such that heifers now comprise 39.8% of animals in feedlots, or 1% more than a year ago, compared to only 31 to 33% during much of the last expansion. This is additional evidence that producers have no plans to expand the brood cow herd. In light of the smaller inventory and cattle on feed numbers, beef production is anticipated to be 6.5% lower in 2023 than last year. Lower availability of beef is expected to constrain U.S. per capita beef consumption to about 56.3 pounds per person in 2023, compared to more than 59 pounds per person in 2022, or around 5% lower. Meanwhile, exports are projected to be 13% lower this year, which also reflects lower anticipated beef production and the strong beef exports we've seen in recent years. All things considered, prices in 2023 are shaping up to exceed those of the last couple years. In fact, current conditions are even bringing about speculation on the possibility of exceeding record prices last set in the fourth quarter of 2014. That seems feasible for fat cattle, which are already trading around $9 a hundredweight more than in the first quarter of 2014. Here, quarterly prices for slaughter steers are forecast to average about $157.39 a hundredweight, 160 and 81 cents a hundredweight, 161 and 81 cents a hundredweight, and $166.40 a hundredweight, respectively. This forecast assumes lower quarterly price growth than in 2014 because a longer transition into herd expansion is anticipated due to the lack of potential replacement heifers, uncertainties about inflation and interest rates, and competition from pork, poultry, and imported beef. It is also likely that feeder prices may spike above 2014 record levels once producers shift to retaining heifers for herd rebuilding, thereby limiting placements on feedlots. However, again, herd rebuilding is anticipated to be delayed compared to 2014. With the expectation that herd rebuilding is well more than a year off, and given that 600 to 700 pound feeders are currently trading around $191 a hundredweight, surpassing records which averaged about $257 a hundredweight and ranged as high as the 270s in the fourth quarter of 2014, will likely have to wait another year, or maybe two. Here, 600 to 700 pound feeder steers are forecast to average about $191.78 a hundredweight in the first quarter, and the rise to $205 a hundredweight and $220.85 a hundredweight in the second and third quarters, respectively, and reach $222.71 a hundredweight in the fourth quarter of 2023. Of course, if improved weather and forage and hay prospects lead producers to retain more heifers earlier instead of sending them to feedlots, then higher prices may be realized even sooner. For the University of Illinois and Western Illinois University, I'm Jason Franken.